Welcome, focused learners. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for this explainer because today we are going to completely flip the script on a concept you probably think you already have figured out: research. We're drawing from some incredibly insightful work originally by Emily Wierzowicz, which highlights how we fundamentally misunderstand the whole purpose of looking things up. We are so culturally conditioned to view research as a tool for proving we're right rather than a tool for discovering what we don't know. But by the end of our time together today, you are going to see exactly why shifting your mindset from finding answers to asking questions is literally the single most powerful upgrade you can make to your learning process.
So I want you to really think about this question for a second. Why do we feel the need to know all the answers before we even begin? It's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? But our society has this absolute obsession with definite answers. We hate ambiguity. We hate being unsure. So when we're faced with a problem or a new project, our immediate instinct is to decide what the answer is right out of the gate, and then just go hunt down the evidence to back it up. But think about how limiting that is. If you already know the destination, you're not really exploring, you're just commuting. We're going to challenge that obsession right now and set the stage for a major paradigm shift. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the thesis first trap and the illusion of certainty. Right from a young age, we're frequently taught to formulate a thesis statement first and then use research purely to verify what we already believe. It feels productive. Actually, scratch that. It feels productive, but it's really creating a super narrow corridor for our minds to walk down. Take this statement: the new iPhone is the best smartphone on the market. Now, to be totally fair, finding simple specs to prove a claim like this is perfectly fine. If you just want to compare battery life or camera megapixels, this thesis-first method works great. Sometimes you just need a quick answer to a simple question. But I want to warn you, assuming this is the only valuable way to conduct research is actually pretty harmful. When we take this rigid method and apply it to complex, nuanced issues, we completely blind ourselves to the bigger picture. Let's look at this rigid, linear model that most of us have been taught. Step 1, pose a question. Step 2, generate an answer. Step 3, find matching sources. The wild thing is, evidence of this assumption is everywhere. If you look at academic guides from highly respected institutions like the University of Maryland or the University of Minnesota, they often suggest developing a thesis the second you start collecting sources. But notice what is glaringly missing from this whole process. There is absolutely no room for doubt, no room for ambiguity. If you find a source that contradicts that answer you generated in step 2, this model subtly encourages you to just ignore it, because it doesn't match. Let's move to section 2, the power of questions and flipping the script on discovery. It is definitely time to ditch those rigid paths and bring in something way better. Instead of entering your research with predetermined static answers, we should be entering with unsettled problems. Let's define genuine inquiry. It's research beginning with open-ended questions based on information gaps used to investigate uncertainty rather than just back up hunches. And hey, this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. The Association of College and Research Librarians officially endorses this approach. They emphasize that research should safely explore conflict, curiosity, and multiple perspectives. When you find points of disagreement in your sources, that isn't a mistake. That is the exact spot where true learning happens. You're forcing yourself to see how these new perspectives might actually stretch or even completely challenge your initial beliefs. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how perfectly it captures the essence of this shift, using a quote from Wernher von Braun, a pioneering aerospace engineer. He famously defined research like this: what I'm doing when I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, if a literal rocket scientist embraces the fact that research is fundamentally about not knowing, then surely we can give ourselves a little grace to not have all the answers right away either. True research is an act of exploration, for sure, not an act of confirmation. Which brings us to section 3, the messy reality of research and embracing the cycle. We have to leave that neat, linear 1-2-3 step checklist in the dust and look at what real discovery actually feels like. Because research is actually a recursive, fluid, and cyclical process filled with diversions, bumps, and missteps. And you know what? That messiness is a feature, not a bug. When we narrow our focus way too early, when we cling to some rigid thesis, we get easily discouraged. We end up abandoning amazing ideas simply because the process didn't unfold perfectly. But if you expect the bumps, and if you embrace the fact that you might get near the finish line of a project and suddenly realize, oh wow, I need to go back and find better sources, that flexibility is exactly what allows you to discover far better, more nuanced information. Let's make this concrete with section 4, a practical example of how questions change outcomes. Let's ground all this theory in a real-world scenario.
Think of these as two totally different doorways into a complex topic. On the left, we have a closed, rigid doorway representing the thesis-first model. Imagine starting your project with a definitive statement: human trafficking should have harsher legal penalties. If you start there, you're going to type exactly that into a search engine, find the sources that already agree with you, and march straight into confirmation bias. You will completely miss the deeper complexities of the issue. Now look at the right side, an open door of curiosity. What if we use the questions-first approach and ask, why does human trafficking persist in the US? If you start out motivated purely by curiosity rather than just trying to prove a point, you uncover entirely new perspectives. For example, by simply asking why, a researcher might be totally surprised to discover the complex role that immigration laws play in this issue. That's something they never would have encountered if they only looked for articles about prison sentences. And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world impact of this mindset. The question opens the door, while the thesis just shuts it.
Moving into our final concept, Section 5, Embracing the Unknown and the Unending Conversation. True research should open us up to being fundamentally changed by what we find, rather than just patting ourselves on the back for being right all along. I absolutely love this concept from philosopher Kenneth Burke. He describes the constructed nature of knowledge as an unending conversation. He says the discussion is interminable. Really think about what that means for you in your own learning journey. When you research a topic, you aren't digging up the final absolute truth. You are stepping into a massive, ongoing conversation that was happening way before you showed up, and it's going to keep going long after you leave. What we have at any given moment is simply a consensus among informed parties, and brand new research can cause that consensus to shift on a dime. Your job isn't to end the conversation. Your job is to participate in it meaningfully.
Let's move to and see how this builds into some real actionable steps for our daily lives. Author Warren Berger points out that valuing questions more than answers requires a massive cultural shift across 4 key areas. First, parents need to be totally comfortable looking at their kids and saying, "I don't know," sparking a shared search for knowledge. Second, educators need to support a student's questioning nature instead of just demanding the right answer on a standardized test. Third, in the workplace, employers should actively encourage employees to question policies because that leads to better, more sustainable business models. And finally, in our civic life, we've got to value genuine inquiry over blindly following authority. Curiosity shouldn't ever be seen as a threat. It should be seen as our ultimate tool for improvement.
So, I leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Are you ready to let go of the answer and start asking the right questions? If we all start our projects with our minds already made up, no new findings will ever see the light of day. To truly learn, to make better decisions, and to genuinely improve our world, we have to get comfortable with ambiguity. We have to embrace the unknown. The next time you set out to look something up, don't try to prove you're right. Try to discover what you're missing. Thank you so much for exploring this incredible paradigm shift with me in this explainer. Keep asking those beautiful questions, and I will catch you next time.